Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Positively Awesome Wrestling Podcast, and we got the gang back together this week. It is yours truly, the Drip King Jimmy Bay, and we are joined by a returning Tidey. Tidey, how have you been? Not just this past week, these past 2 weeks, you've been depriving the people of what they came to see, and that's some Tidey. What's been up, bud?
Man, I've been busy working out, finding championship belts. I've been thinking about stuff about wrestling and Sami Zayn. I've been so damn happy with Raw and SmackDown lately, man. It's the perfect thing after the draft. Sorry I couldn't join y'all last week. I had work-related stuff and personal stuff. But
that's okay.
I'm undepriving everybody right now. I don't know how I do that, but whatever. I'm here.
And then we are also joined by our newest member. He ain't missed a day since he got here. It is Albert. Albert, how are you doing, bud? And hopefully you're doing better than last week, because you were going through it last week.
Last week wasn't fun at all. And it's funny. I had a 2-day reprieve from everything. It was bad, in the beginning part. Saturday, then we did our show. I was all good. Maybe about 2 hours afterwards, went right back downhill again. So, man. Yeah, but lucky to say that I'm back. I'm feeling, I would say I'm about 75%, which is way better than I was before. So I'm feeling good. I'm ready to talk about some wrestling. And, man, Tidey, you said Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, man, there's so much to talk about right now. It's gonna be fun.
So just to express the excitement we got going on here, I got in a little group chat. I was like, this is gonna be the rundown, everybody. And then Albert's like, man, we could probably talk about Roman and Sami for the entire time. And I was like, it's taking me and Tidey back to the good old beginning days of the podcast, where we're like, that's all we talked about is Sami Zayn. I ain't mad at all if we do it again. But since Tidey's over here showing off titles, I got titles to show off as well. Wrestle Buddy Wars champion. If you don't know, now you know, sucker. Go over to Wrestle Buddy, check it out. It's the Buddy Wars tournament tiebreaker finale, where you get to see me get my hands on this, kind of. But it's in my possession now, and that's all that matters. We got champions upon champions upon champions up in this beast right here. I knocked some gems off when I dropped it, though. That's unfortunate.
I wish you guys would have told me. I didn't get the memo. I would have brought I was at my mom's house. I mean, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. But I was at my mom's house. I would have brought I have one belt. I have the old school John Cena U.S. spinner title. So that's the one I have. I would have brought it with me. I would have.
Sorry, I was looking at the comments. We're going to get to that in a second. But yeah, just bring the belts on. We all got belts to be sharing here. You got the John Cena belt. Tidey got the spinning wrist belt, man. That thing's clean as hell. We got Noob up in the what is up, Noob? Thank you for joining, bud. As always, much appreciated. She's saying the show is looking good. Not me. The show is looking great. Everything's working fine. That's what that means. But I'll take it. Thank you, babe. Hello,
Hi, Amanda.
Albert. Yep. We got Cameron back. What up, Cameron? Thank you for joining us again. He is here. She remembers the belt. That was a great day. That was a fantastic day. And this is my man, Lou. He says y'all should kick him off the broadcast for that stupid shimmy dance he just did. Let me tell you something. I also did this shimmy yesterday when the Knicks got eliminated, Lou. Oh, I know that might have hurt you too, out, but it is what it is. Lou deserved that one right there.
I'm a Nets fan, so I felt it. I felt it a series prior, so I'm already numb to it. I'm also a Devils fan, so I got doubly kicked, over these past couple of weeks.
Hey. And the Celtics made it, so I can shimmy again. What are we doing here?
Let the men shimmy.
Shimmy. That's what Jimmy's going to shimmy, and there ain't nothing you can do about it, Lou. Just get with the program. But that's Lou right there. He's saying what's up as well. Yeah. Oh, wow. All right. So enough of the pleasantries and goofing off. Time to get down to business. We are going to I don't think we should do the same thing yet, because we might get carried away with it. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the finals of the World Title Tournament. Now, me personally, I was confused, because I thought it was a tournament where it was going to go week by week by week, and they gave it to us all in 1 week. Did either of you guys get that from when they were explaining it, or were you just as shocked as I were when you were like, we're doing it all in one night? The 2 matches for everybody.
I thought it would be extended as well, but I was okay that it wasn't. I was like, oh shit, I get to see the conclusion right now. So I was happy with it.
So I at least thought that they were, when they announced 2 triple threat matches, I was like, okay, so 2 triple threat matches, then the winners will face each other the week after. I didn't think it was all going to be in one show, but you know what? I think it was cool. It's different, and difference always good in my opinion.
That's fair. That's fair. The triple threats were great. I don't think there was one that missed. And in the end, it came down. Seth, he won his triple threat. Finn Balor won his. So they went off in the main event. I don't know. I'm assuming we all caught it when Finn hit the power bomb on Seth on the barricade on the outside. I was like, oh, that was nice. That was a nice little touch there.
And it's funny. We talked about this either last week or the week before, Jimmy. We were talking about how I was hoping that Finn and Seth were going to be in the finals because I thought this was going to be an all Raw thing before they announced SmackDown was going to be a part of it. I was like, this would be a really cool throwback to the Universal title, and we kind of got it. I did like the reverse stomp, and then the actual stomp to finish Finn off. I mean, Rollins just continues to do cool stuff every week you watch him wrestle. I just love watching the man wrestle.
That what was it? The front face stomp.
Yeah,
that thing was dope as hell. I was like, what did he just do? That was cool. Lou says it caught him off guard, but yeah, I wasn't mad at it either because I think the triple threat matches were awesome, and I do because it gives it the King of the Ring feel. I like the idea of people wrestling more than once in these tournaments in one night. They really kind of show like how bad it is they want it. I think it was a good idea to do it. We'll get to that in a second. And then on SmackDown, we had AJ. He beat Edge and Rey Mysterio. And then I didn't see this one. I just know that Bobby Lashley won. I'm sure Tidey was through the roof there for a minute on that one when he beat Austin Theory and Sheamus. Yep. He pinned Austin Theory though. Is that what happened?
Yes, he did.
Wow, that's interesting.
Theory got hit with the bro kick. Lashley kind of dispatched to Sheamus and then took care of him.
So he did what Austin Theory did to him.
Basically, Theory was very well protected. And to be completely honest, it's the best way for them to have Lashley get a win back from Theory without the U.S. title on the line to build Lashley up to look good too.
And I think it's very cool that they did it the exact same way that he basically robbed Bobby Lashley at Backlash because Bobby hit the spear on Bronson, and then he threw Bobby out to get the pin.
Right.
Exactly. I like that. That's cool. I'm okay with the loss for Austin Theory now.
It was similar, not exact, but similar, and
I'll accept it.
To be fair, the commentator did make clear he's not one in the SmackDown tournament that ever held one of these, so that is a thing too.
I do like what they did. I do like that in the brackets they gave us 5 ex-world champions, and they sprinkled in I guess technically 4 on the Raw side. I feel like I keep counting Cody as a world champion because he was an NWA heavyweight champion. So
he's a world champion.
Yeah,
we'll honor it.
So 5 ex-world champions in there, and then they gave us an X Factor and Damian Priest on one side and Theory on the other, where it's like, okay, we have these up-and-comers that we want to put into this, into these spots. And we were talking about Priest before we got on the air. Priest is one of those guys. I think he's in his 40s right now.
I think he's 41.
Yeah, so he's one of those guys where if WWE wants to get the longevity out of Damian Priest,
they got
the time is right. Yeah, strike while the iron's hot. Give him that Batista kind of run where he's super hot for a couple of years before he's not able to sustain anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I've been pushing for Damian Priest to do something for a long time now. But we had AJ. He beat Bobby Lashley in the finale. I know that brought Tidey right back down to reality right there. But in the grand scheme of things, we are now, I put it up here earlier, I'll put it up again. We are now getting this for the finals in the tournament for a world champion. I like the way AJ is being presented here. I think it's different than when he left. He was kind of starting to get a little bit, I don't want to say comical, but he wasn't serious at all. He's come back very serious, and he's come back with a vengeance. And this is what she means by a house divided. She loves AJ Styles. Named our cat after AJ Styles because he's got so much hair.
Is it the initials?
Yeah, his name is the cat's name is AJ Styles.
When
we took the bet, it was the phenomenal AJ Styles.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying is, did she gravitate to AJ Styles because she's AJ as well?
No, we got the cat like a few months ago. We named
Okay.
him after age. Like I legit named it. It was a present to her, and I was like, "But if we're gonna cat, I'm gonna name it." Because I've been dying to name an animal forever now. I tried to name our dog and it didn't work. So I said, we're naming this cat what I want to name it. And I was like, he's so hairy. AJ Styles. Boom. It works. She loves him. She wants that new Ultimate figure where his hair's blowing in the wind.
Dude.
Her favorite moment of the night is when he comes out and he goes, when his hair flies everywhere. She wants to know his secret so bad. She loves AJ Styles. And obviously, like, apparently everyone knows that I love Seth Rollins more than I do because I've never really thought of myself as a big Seth Rollins guy. But the more I'm watching him, I'm like, I am a big Seth Rollins guy. I love the dude. So that's going to be interesting to see those two. The match is going to fucking bang, though. I am so excited for this.
Look, I think I tweeted this out either today or yesterday. They want to call this the workman's world title. AJ Styles and Seth Rollins, those are the right two guys to put in that spot. Perfect.
There's a few that shoot. That's another thing you could talk about with the people they chose. They're all workhorses.
Yeah.
Like every single one of those guys could fit that to a T. I mean, I don't even Austin Theory. I know people hate them, but they're dumb. They're all workhorses. Every single one of those people in that tournament were workhorses. So that's something I didn't even think about either. We got Courtney. She says she finally joined us. It's about damn time. Lou said that's all. Yeah. She loved AJ. I mean, in fact, that's the first figure I think we got. No, Dexter was the first one we got her, but we got her a Seth one or AJ. He's holding a flower for her, I think, and he says he loves it. So
AJ, the commentator said he's only got so much time left. And he's not going to squander whatever time he does have left. So he's making every moment count. That's what the commentator was saying while AJ was in his match. Just like you say about Priest in a sense. But, man, I look at AJ, man, I feel like he's like Bobby Lashley. He's got 2 to 5 years. I just don't see that man losing a step. And I don't want to think about the future in that sense. AJ's going to be immortal. So I'm always going to believe AJ. Man, you know, if you think about AJ Styles, I've never seen a bad match. I've seen the craziest shit with him since back in the day. Him with John Cena, him with Brock Lesnar. It doesn't matter who he fights. If you look at a contrasting style, it was a triple threat match. And I wrote down half a page. I wasn't going to do the whole match. It's too hard because there was never a bad spot, 3-way spot, any spot in that whole match. And some of the crap that I wrote down was just incredible that they did. I mean,
the drop kick DDT spot was fucking cool.
Yeah,
like,
drop kick DDT, that was so well timed.
And it was like, yo, how did this even come to be? He got all excited about
it. Spot too was great. I mean,
yeah.
Just everything they did, there was poetry. That match was pure poetry. 3 guys that can just flat out go. Edge has great chemistry with every guy he's wrestled since he's come back. It's been incredible to see that Edge's game has elevated so much higher than it was when he left, even before when he was wrestling full time. He's got new moves, introducing new wrinkles into his arsenal. Man, that match was so fun.
Yeah.
I want to say 90 years of a combined experience, what the commentator said.
Yeah.
Or no, and it's Stu Bennett, Bad News Bear. 90 years of experience between the 3 of them. And then it soaked in on me. I'm like, they have to deliver while I'm watching it live. There's no way they can't. And I'm just blown away. Like they're just going until the very end when Ray did that frog splash and then Edge kind of got the shoulder up. So Ray was kind of feeling like this. Perfect time for AJ to capitalize and get that forearm in. I thought it was still perfect. That would have been the only thing that kind of botched and ruined it for me. But no, Edge was tired. It added a sense of realism. It was perfect way to end it. I loved it. I don't care what anybody.
You could tell that those 3 guys put that match together and there was nobody helping them. And that's a big thing. I think more wrestlers should be allowed that kind of freedom because that kind of match does. You don't, again, like we were talking about before the show, triple threat matches usually go with that formula of AJ gets thrown out, Edge and Ray go at it. And then AJ comes in, he throws Edge out, and then AJ and Ray go at it. And then Edge comes back, he throws Ray out, we get Edge. And it's just that formula goes back and back. And then when the end hits, You get some confusion, some craziness, and then someone usually steals a pin, and that's usually how triple threat goes. That's not how this one went at all, and that's why I liked it so much.
I agree. And, 2 active Hall of Famers in the match, and one of the best wrestlers, of our generation, or maybe if not our generation, the generation after us. I mean,
I think it's fair. I think it wouldn't be out of question to say that AJ might be the most smooth wrestler I've ever watched.
I won't disagree.
He doesn't screw up. I think I've seen him botch one time, and it was like a crazy move too. It wasn't. I think it was the backflip where he catches in the reverse DDT and then does the reverse DDT. He botched that somehow, and it was just like, I can see how you botch that one because that's a very complex move. But
even Edge just had great kicks.
Yeah.
That is crazy that it turned out that way. Is that why you like AJ? Because it's got the same dang initials? If first, we're going to have to talk about that one. And let's see. Come on, what do you think? We're about to touch on that one right after this. We're almost there, bud. We got a lot to say about it. And she says, no. Okay, good.
So I want to ask you this now that we're kind of on this topic a little bit. So obviously, did she watch wrestling prior to you guys?
No.
No? Okay. So was there somebody that you thought that she was going to be especially drawn to?
Matt Riddle.
Were you right?
Dying laughing right now as I'm saying this, but I thought Matt Riddle was going to be the one that she was just like, I love him.
And is it like, did that happen, or is it just like, like he's cool, kind of?
I think she just saw his hair. She's infatuated with his hair, and she's just right here. She didn't like him at first. It's just the hair that got her, like literally it. And then I think she's asked me multiple times, and I've gone on Twitter and be like, hey AJ, what's your fucking secrets, man? Stop being a little bitch and tell me your secrets to your hair. And he won't do it. I found an interview where the interviewer asked him, and he just told her no as well. Like he just won't do it. But it was 8. Yeah, she didn't like Riddle at first either, but she loves Randy, and then naturally she took on the Riddle as well. But yeah. AJ would not have been a name I thought of in the million years that she would have gravitated toward. But
so it's funny to me because I started off my girlfriend. The first real match I showed her was Bayley and Sasha from Takeover, their first main event, and I was like, that's it. She's gonna be a Sasha fan forever. Like that's gonna be it. And man, the second she saw Bianca, that was it. That was just became her girl. And it's funny that like, when you're introducing new people, you assume almost like, I know this person well enough. They're probably going to like this person. Yeah. And it's so funny to see the little things that other people grasp onto, watching them from a start. It's fun. Like it's a lot more fun to introduce somebody to pro wrestling at times.
Oh, absolutely. Noob, SmackDown Friday is confusing. We're going to talk about the Roman Reigns going after the tag title, so don't go nowhere because I'm very excited to talk about this one. Fans are complaining about LA Knight. Yeah. Asuka heel turn. I don't know why people would be complaining about an Asuka heel turn. We've kind of been waiting for it for months now because she was supposed to, and then she didn't. And it's like, do it. Just do it already. So the LA Knight thing, I do want to ask a question real quick.
Okay, cool.
After the AJ Seth thing. So I just want, real quick, is there any possibility that AJ walks out of Night of Champions as the champion?
Yes.
Really? Y'all are that confident that there's a possibility it happens?
Definite possibility.
Okay.
So I think WWE has been doing this thing where, all right, so I'm 50-50 on it, obviously. Is there a chance? Yeah, there's a chance. Because we said there wasn't a chance that Roman was going to retain. You know what I mean? Like, we thought Cody had it in the bag. I think WWE is trying to be a little bit less predictable. I think just to swerve everybody, because we all are like, hey, you know what? Rollins has to be the guy.
Yeah.
Why not AJ win it and then lose it back next month? Like, there's a chance that they could do something like that.
Just before, Tidey, if you got anything, you go ahead. If not, I got something I'm going to jump in with.
I was going to say, I'm 50-50 on it now. I was more like, Seth's winning it. We know it. That's our favorite guy. Everybody knows he deserves it. Blah, blah. Who cares? Predictability can also be a weapon used against a fan, because that can actually get boring. In a sense, I want to watch a match where I don't know who can win. Just like watching a basketball match or a football game that's not close at all, and they're not coming back.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to see AJ is presented the way that he is presented. All the commentators spoke on him. They were like, dude, this is his first match back from a long time. But oh my God, he is ready for this tournament. And then he does a different match versus Bobby Lashley, which is different than the triple threat he just did. He's fighting a big dude at a different pace. And he won. That damn cat-like reflexes got out of the hurt lock. You don't get out of the hurt lock. He used his little leggies to get towards those second ropes and pull himself in. And then he's going to knee Bobby Lashley in the side of the head.
Yeah,
he
baby.
Beat Bobby Lashley clean. That dude is a monster.
AJ's that truth, man.
So it reminds everybody who AJ is. And honestly, that's the position it should go in. It should be that way at Night of Champions, that he can technically win. I don't give a shit about the Raw talk.
Okay, so I did just think of this. Back like when the brand split, I guess not happened, but when they split AJ, it was right when the Good Brothers were fired. AJ was like, I don't want to be on the same show as Paul Heyman because he thought Paul Heyman was the reason they got fired. I did find it interesting that AJ got drafted to SmackDown with Roman and Paul. I was like, did they squash it? Are they cool with it? Probably. I thought it was a little weird.
Look, I think business means business for a lot of guys. I think if AJ's going to be in a position to get the shot at Roman right now, the money he's going to make definitely overtakes the idea of let's just do business. Let's get through it. Let bygones be bygones.
In the same sense, though, don't you think he would have been a great opponent for Roman already?
Absolutely.
If he was going to do business, I feel like he would have done business. But what if he's just really gung-ho and like, I'm not doing anything with them? And drafting the SmackDown was kind of just like part of the swerve. Like he's in SmackDown. We're having a tournament for a Raw title that he just happens to be a part of. He's not going to win it. Maybe he does win it. But then I think of the other argument is he's kind of coming across as heelish. Roman's the heel. Are you going to have two top heel champions? I don't think that's a formula they usually go with.
Yeah, I agree. It's got to be. I think if whoever wins has to stay a face, and I think that it makes sense for WWE to keep AJ a face because Roman's going to need contenders if they're going to go past 1,000. I mean, let's face it, 1,000 days. We're going to get into it, but 1,000 days happens when they're in Saudi, right?
It's the day of Saudi.
So
you hear what I'm about to fucking give y'all.
So no matter what, he hits 1,000 days as champion, right? Yeah. So he makes the record no matter what. They're going to need to fill out some, top contenders afterwards. And AJ Styles is one of those guys
right there. 173.
Yeah, he's got to be one of them.
My man Lou says AJ's got a weed.
You see,
he also says he has no chance of winning the Night Champions. He is an official AJ Styles hater right there. Seth Rollins. Y'all know the tune. It's in your head right now. But okay, so y'all think AJ has a chance? That's cool.
Because
I'm like 80-20. So I guess there's a small chance I think he can win it, but man, it would be crazy if Seth did.
He's going in as the underdog, which it should never be, because in our head, everybody's already decided Seth's going to win. Most of us are thinking Seth's going to win.
And he's also
That's
the best
why
in the
Grayson
world.
Waller is involved in the interview / Grayson Waller effect show to mess with AJ. We'll see how that goes. Because I see Grayson Waller doing crazy shit. I see him even messing with Seth. And somehow that makes AJ win. Or he tries to interrupt AJ. And AJ actually capitalizes. And that actually works in his favor. I don't know. But it's how I should feel. Damn it, AJ can win.
All right, before we move on, I will say Seth Rollins and Grayson Waller would be entertaining television. I would say that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Get Seth on the Grayson Waller effect and let them just have like a 20-minute segment together. That'd be fucking hilarious.
I feel like just 7 minutes of Grayson Waller yelling at Rollins just for Rollins to look at him for 5 seconds, pause, and just hit that laugh.
Yeah.
The payoff would just be magic.
So he don't want to. He says he likes AJ. Okay. As long as you like AJ, we're good. And then Courtney said, I don't want to see Roman 4 belts at all. Just don't want it, which is a segue now, because now we will talk about the main topic of tonight's show. Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns are challenging Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. I don't know about y'all, but when I heard this, my jaw just was like, what? Like, what? Sammy's wrestling in Saudi? I've heard some things since then that make me feel a little bit more comfortable about it. I thought they might be doing a bait and switch here, but apparently they're not. This is matches going underways, and it's like, okay. Now, excitement level here. Because we saw the segment, Roman basically was just like, Usos, y'all trash. Me and Solo going to handle business. Okay. Jimmy was a little bit, he thought it was a little funny. Jay was not with it, but he got in line there for a second. But the match is happening. Excitement levels. What we got? Tidey, go ahead.
I'm at a 10.10. Because I that's more story with the bloodline, you know, and even Sami said on Raw, he was whispering when Imperium was talking to him, was like, give me seconds. You'll still be Imperium in 5 seconds. I was laughing my ass off. And then, but he was whispering to Kevin as he got interrupted the second time. Yeah, you know, we're done with the bloodline thing at this point. He said that out loud. So next episode, oh, okay, now you got to deal with Solo and them. And then it also allows the interruption. Supposedly, if they want to get in Roman's good graces, oh, we'll try to help him out, Oos. I can see them doing something stupid. It doesn't matter. I get more bloodline right now. So I'm really happy about that.
The gift that keeps on giving, baby.
Or it could be just the whole squash and then say they lose. Say Sami and KO lose. Not just say. So if
I can't say it. I can't bring myself to say it.
Sami and KO lose. Sami and KO can start beefing with each other. And truly, like you said, it could be the end of the talk of the bloodline. And they can just get on with their life and Jimmy and Jay, whatever. Yeah, I ain't that happy either, but I want to say it, man. Sometimes you got to verbalize it to the world, man. So you feel better inside.
Before I head over to you, Albert, I'll touch this real quick. So he couldn't. And basically what has happened in recent times, I don't know how long ago it was, but apparently Saudi and the Syrian government have now they've become a truce, and they're now having diplomatic relations with each other once again. So I'm sure there's still a danger for him to go, but I feel like they think the danger is minimal enough now to where Sammy's at least okay to go. And that's the whole reason behind it. It's just a diplomatic, they're on good terms at the moment. So apparently Sami has never said he didn't want to go. He just wasn't allowed to go. I never knew that. I thought it was his choice. So,
well, Heyman said he pulled every string to flex their bloodline muscle to the board of directors. It's one thing that stuck in my head. I was like, man, how are you going to make this happen? How are you going to make Sami go? And so, that was just something in my head that was entertaining to think about.
Oh no, that's a great thing to add to it, to like really show like they have that pull. Sammy's never gone. Well, we made it happen because we're that serious. Very cool addition to that. I cannot wait for the pop Sammy's going to get. This is going to work out well for him because he got the crazy pop at Elimination Chamber. He's been getting crazy pops ever since. Saudi has been, the fans at least have been like, we want Sami. Roman had to stop and address it last year. So this year they're going to get him for the first time, and Kevin Owens for the first time. They're going to lose their shit. And what this does is kind of starts to put Sami. I was listening to Andy and Cy talk about it earlier today on Wrestling Legion. If you're not following it, you should go check those guys out. They're every Sunday at 2:00 in the afternoon, my time. So they were talking about how maybe it was Andy. He was talking about how maybe this kind of gives that perception like, hey, Sami's still kind of over here. Maybe we should start to look into revisiting the top guy thing with Sami Zayn, because he's going to get the pop there. And then when they go to UK and the next month after that, he's going to get a pop there. And then stuff's just infectious. So then by the time the SummerSlam rolls around, as long as he's still winning and all that other stuff, the fans are going to be like, we fucking love Sam. And it's going to keep going. That's going to be very good for him in the end. Why wasn't he allowed to go? Because he's Syrian and they hated the Syrian people or something. I never looked into it. I just know that the Saudis and Syrians did not get along. And the best way to just say is if Sami would have went, there's a good chance they would have unalived him. That's the terminology I've seen used on that. So with diplomatic relations now back on board, it's like, oh no, it's safe for him. So that's kind of where we're at with that. He give a 3.5 because I'm getting tired of the whole blood. I think the bloodline storyline has been on a coast for the past few months because WrestleMania hit. That was the climax of those things. But now we're going into a whole other section of this. So it's about to pick back up. I'm with you that I agree that you were getting, like, I can understand why people were getting tired of it, but it's about to pick up again, 100%. And Damage Control, they just need to cancel. Just be done with it. Be done with it. And it looks like that's where they're heading with that too.
It's where it's going. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. So Sammy's good. Sammy's good. And man, I can't wait for that pop. But Albert, excitement level, where are you at with this match?
Here we go. All right. So I'm going to start off by saying excitement level. I'm at a 10. I didn't think this was going to be the chance that this was going to happen. I thought, okay, Saudi, world title, Night of Champions. Roman's going to defend. Who are they going to put up against Roman to have this match? It'll probably be a good match. Roman's going to win, whatever. Wait.
Change now, baby.
Roman and Solo are going to go for the tag titles because the Usos couldn't get the job done? Come on. Like, immediately, here's my thing. At any point, if you're going into this bloodline story, at what point did anyone think, even if Cody won, that the bloodline story was going to end at WrestleMania? There was no way possible.
The ending to come.
Right. Whatever the outcome of WrestleMania was, there was still the tension that's been building between Jay and Roman. Now, I get it. This hasn't been the front and center storyline like it was during WrestleMania time. We do have Sami talking to Jay. Hey, Jay, look, he's still using you. You can get out. You guys can get out. You guys can get out. And Jay's still being the good soldier. So they've kept it going enough. But if you are a person who felt cheated by the WWE because they didn't give you Sami Zayn defeating Roman Reigns in Montreal for the world title, this is the vindication that you can get, even more so than the WrestleMania victory. This is the ultimate vindication. Even if they pin Solo, if Sami and KO beat Roman Reigns and Solo, no matter what, that's Sami's vindication. He gets the win over Roman. That's huge. If you are a Sami Zayn fan, I don't know how you're not excited about this. The other thing that I keep seeing is that, people are complaining about this. I don't understand what's going on. And Tidey, thank you for bringing up what you brought up before. That line from Paul Heyman absolves every single storyline and kayfabe reason as to why this makes total sense. I went above Adam Pearce. I went above everybody else. I went straight to the board of directors. I pulled every string I possibly could to make this happen because Roman Reigns wanted this to happen. You have a picture-perfect storyline explanation, and all I saw the next day on Twitter was, or the night of, they're not going to make Roman Reigns defend the title at Night of Champions? Where's the authority figures? Dude, watch the show. And I get it. Like, people called me condescending because that's what I said. I was like, it's like these people don't watch the show that they're talking about. And somebody then called me condescending. And in my mind, I was like, if you felt that was the case, I apologize. But if you listen to what they said in the show, it's right there and it makes sense. There's a difference between saying it didn't happen and I don't like the way it's going. Hey, look, your personal opinion is what it is. If you don't like something, that is all for you. That's fine. If you don't like the fact that they're doing this with Roman, that's on you. But that doesn't mean
to say it doesn't make sense, though. That's
exactly.
Thank you so much, because I try to stress this so much, and I've had someone that's been a pain in my butt for a very long time about this. Is like, I get that you don't like it, but that doesn't mean it doesn't make sense. Yeah, like, you can say it's silly, you can say it's stupid, you can say whatever you want, but it does make sense. And Paul Heyman with that one line, it made sense. Now, you brought up the point. Roman could lose here. Solo takes the pin. Obviously, that's where everyone's mind goes, is if they lose, Solo's taking the pin. And then all of a sudden, he doesn't trust Solo, and that's how things happen. I'm going to go ahead and say no. I do think Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens win. I think Sami Zayn gets the pinfall. And I think he pins Roman Reigns on his 1,000th day as champion in Saudi Arabia, because Jey Uso comes down and costs them the match. That right there because the moment at WrestleMania was a great consolation prize for Sami Zayn for not getting his Elimination Chamber moment. Being the first guy to pin Roman Reigns since TLC 2019, that's you've officially made everything better. Like I'll accept that 100% because then if they're letting him do that, obviously they think highly enough of him to where there's a plan in the future to where he could potentially be champion. And thank you.
He's going to be champion.
Hey, I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying I don't know if you see these Razor things back here. I love Razor to death. If Sami Zayn joins the ranks of someone like Razor Ramon, whereas a guy who should have been champion, it just never happened. It's a much more exclusive club at this point, and I'd be okay with it.
There's like a handful of them.
Yeah, there's not many on that list. There's a lot on the list of I've won the title one time and I never did anything else. And I don't want to say that would happen to Sami. I'm just saying it could. But I'm super excited because I say a lot of crazy shit on this show. I know this for a fact. And this is more of me talking with the heart. I know this for a fact. But with everything crumbling around and the split now officially kind of in motion, I don't think there's no better time to do this than ever before. Because I would have never expected to see Roman Reigns go for the tag titles here. Never. But now we are. And he's trying to teach him a lesson. So what if the Usos are like, let us teach you a lesson? And then that leads right into Money in the Bank next month, where we've been saying it a few times on the show. Jey Uso with the Money in the Bank briefcase, bro. Get after he just cost Roman, then that would be huge. 10 doesn't do it for me. Like it has to be more. That's how excited I am for this match. Like I'm usually just kind of like these shows. They're gonna be fun. They're gonna be fun. This is a can't miss show for me at this point because of this match. Blue, he said he wants the Solo and the Usos to jump Roman. It's not gonna happen, man. It's not gonna happen. The Usos gonna betray his brothers. Oh man, it's gonna be ugly. But that's what's gonna happen there.
And here's the other thing. We talk about the excitement level for the show is at a high. We're also going to crown our first ever WWE or our new WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns being in a tag team match gives the WWE the opportunity to not have Roman main event this Saudi show and make that consolation prize world championship that all these morons keep calling it look like it's much more important if it main events the show over Roman Reigns. I mean,
do you think it main events?
I do.
Or do you think it opens the show?
I don't think it main events.
I do.
Okay. So if they go with my theory where Roman Reigns gets pinned, do you think that main events over Roman still? Because you can't have anything follow Roman getting pinned. That's a huge moment. You can't have anything follow that.
If we're going with that, then yes. Then you have to main it. That has to be the main event.
I think Seth and AJ is a perfect opening match. I think so. And if Roman wasn't on the show, I would say for sure, it's easily the main event. Roman's on the show. He's superseded all titles, everything. He is the main event. I'm sorry, that's just what. If he's in a 10-man match, it should be a main event. Sorry, go ahead, Tidey.
The commentators also mentioned that the Bloodline, referring to Heyman and Roman on SmackDown, they said the Bloodline called this championship a consolation prize.
Yeah.
They straight up said what everybody else was saying in the IWC. And
they've been pulling from the IWC a lot.
I find it so great that he said that because if he's definitely, that makes me think he's definitely main eventing it. He's definitely doing the Night of Champions because Roman ain't going to not be the main event to a consolation prize, and he's the greatest tag team. I mean, he's the greatest singles competitor, like he said, of all time. And now he wants the tag teams, and he told Jimmy to apologize and Jay to apologize. And the fact that it's ironic that he may lose because he's like, you're gonna disrespect the Bloodline by you should have dedicated this to Alpha Sika. We have Hall of Famers in our bloodline, in our family. Why are you gonna do it to a singles champion? And then he flips it on him, say he's going for the tag titles. Now he may have to actually be in the position to eat his own words.
Yeah. So
ironic.
Yeah. First match. I would say the world title match is your first match because it's going to get everybody. The match is going to be phenomenal. You're going to crown someone a world champion. It's a great way to get everyone just in a great mood.
It's going to be hard to follow that too, though.
It would be, but I mean,
Yeah,
they've done it at WrestleMania before. It's not hard. You could do the come down match after that. Unfortunately, it would suck for whoever's in that position, but I feel like that kind of match gets the crowd just like really into it. And then again, if you're going to there's two options here. Sami Zayn pins Roman Reigns, or Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa win. Either one of those two things are much bigger moments. I'm sorry, like in the future, yes, whoever wins this title, the world's new world title, it's going to be a bigger moment longevity wise. But as of right now, Roman Reigns losing or becoming Roman 4 belts is a bigger deal at this point. Because again, he's superseded everything else. He is the attraction. He is the show. He's literally everything. So anything that involves him is going to be a bigger deal in the now. And that's why I think it has the main event.
So devil's advocate here. What if Roman and Solo in the tag title match opens the show? And what if win, lose, or draw, Roman's reaction is, let's go? Let's say they lose. Let's just say they lose. Let's say Solo eats the pin. Let's say the Usos are the reason as to why they do it. I can see Roman being in the back, tapping Solo and Heyman on the shoulder and saying, let's go to the jet. The Usos getting up to go with them, and Roman pushes them into the chest, pushes them back, and goes, nah, you fly back with everybody else. We're going to take the jet home today. You go back with everybody else and leave them in Saudi Arabia. Basically, abandon them in a completely different country because they couldn't get the job done, and help Roman and Solo win, or they were the reason why they lost. That's a great way to get Roman in that first match. Have a reason for it, because even the week before, he can say on SmackDown, I don't want to be there. I don't want to sit through 4 hours to be the main event. Get me out there. Let me go first. Let me get out of there so I can get on my private jet and fly right back home to the United States.
That's a fair point. I can't think of an ending to this match that isn't a big deal. If Solo loses, it's a big deal.
It is.
If they win, it's a big deal. If Roman loses, it's a big deal. Like, any way you cut this match, it's a big deal. And I think anything following that is going to be much harder than following, Seth Rollins was crowned his moment. Because it is so predictable. We all kind of know that it's happening. We can just be like, this was a fun ride. Now let's go on with the show now that we're completely amped up.
But we also have Brock and Cody fighting.
Yeah.
That can follow right after the
I wouldn't do that one.
That's what I would do right after Seth wins. Because everybody's gonna say Seth's gonna win. I might as well say it too. After Seth wins, we'll just have whatever. I don't care anymore. And
if AJ wins, I think it changes things. Because I don't think AJ winning will be as big of a deal as Seth winning. And I don't mean that as any kind of slight on AJ. I just think we're just it's kind of like the Cody at WrestleMania thing where we're just like, it's happening. We're ready for it. Give it to us now, baby. And then they're going to give it to Seth because they didn't give it to us earlier. Like, this is the match they're going to like reward the fans. That's what I think.
But I think Brock can follow. Brock can follow that.
Okay.
Brock and Cody. Brock is going to destroy Cody, and I can't wait to see it because Brock is mean as shit now.
Yeah.
Look at this face. I'm talking about a fight.
What do you want to talk about, Cody?
Now what you want to talk about? Who's the coward now, Cody? Does Brock look like a bitch? Does Brock act like a bitch? Why you try to punk him like he's one then, Cody? And that's why Brock said, who's the coward now?
Yeah.
You're going to talk shit about me a couple of weeks when I'm not even on TV. You son of a bitch.
Brock
put him in his place.
I could not shut up yelling. What do you want to talk about, Cody? I know everybody in my section on Monday was mad as hell. I was like, what do you want to talk about, Cody? Everyone else is like, it's okay, Cody. It's okay, Cody. And I'm like, no. I completely forgot about that match happening at Saudi. That's how excited I am about Sami, Kevin, Roman, and Solo. I never saw this match coming. I don't know anybody that saw this match coming.
No.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna give the dude his props because I think he's the one that broke this story. And everyone gives him a lot of shit. I believe Zero News broke this like last month that this match was probably going to happen. I think. And if he did, dude, everybody needs to get off his ass and give him some props because that's crazy. I don't know if it was him though. I do think it was. And at the very least, I think he was the first one to say that Sami and Kevin Owens would be wrestling in Saudi Arabia, which everyone's like, no, they're not. Which I will say to all you idiots that thought they were just going to drop the titles back to the Usos because they can't go to Saudi. I want you to slap yourselves right now. You are thinking way too much about this stuff. Just
be a fan.
It's that's fair though to think.
No, I don't think it's fair to just because what it is I think fans are just acting like I know. I'm part of the know. Like,
oh, the poshness. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
that.
That's what I don't like. If you're like, I don't think it's gonna happen. That's a fair. You're questioning it. You're not putting your foot down, stating it's just not gonna happen because I know what they're gonna do more than they know. That's how it comes across to me with a lot of these people when they're saying this. That's silly to me. And there was a lot of them that were like, Sami and Kevin it's Night of Champions and we're not going to get a tag title match. What kind of Night of Champions is that? Well, it's a real one, you dummies, because the match has happened. I'm sorry to call people dummies. I know I'm supposed to be trying to be nice and positive here, but that was irking me. I've been holding this in for weeks now because I've been like,
look, here's my thing. You know, you mentioned Zero News, and this is where I get upset about how the internet reacts to this kind of stuff. And this is just going to be all this. I have like 3 things to say. It's all like going to be in like shotgun fire because they all meld into each other.
Yeah,
the internet, honest to God, like truthfully believes that they know everything that's going on. The only thing they do is read dirt sheets because they don't know what's going on, so they have to live vicariously through somebody else. So Meltzer and Alvarez get things wrong. I mean, often, almost always. Sean Ross Sapp will break something. He might get it wrong, but when he gets it wrong, he's usually good about saying, hey, look, we vetted our sources. We trust our sources enough to run this. Unfortunately, they might have fed us some false information. Not all of this is a science, you know.
Can I butt in real quick with that?
Sure.
For the people, because I agree with everybody that Sean Ross Sapp is like the top guy. I think he is the best at breaking things. That man on his own podcast stated that Zero News has a source. Like he's like that man, the man y'all trust with everything, has stated this kid has a source. So again, I know in the beginning he was kind of a dick to people, and I get you being hesitant to like be cool with him. But another thing that Sean Ross Sapp said on his podcast, the guy that y'all praise, he said this kid is trying to be better. He has a source. So, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to get that because I feel like it goes with the Sean Ross Sapp stuff. Because
but you bring up a great point because when Zero News first started, he broke like 4 things in a row. Like there were like 4 like monster like news stories that he was 100% on the money about, and then slowly but surely he started reporting on things that I guess I'm gonna just take the notion that. Maybe he didn't double check enough. Maybe he didn't have enough sources. Maybe he didn't have enough behind. Or maybe he was just getting fed false information. But it was funny about how quickly people decided that they were just going to turn on him because he got a couple of things wrong when all the major outlets get things wrong.
Yeah.
Nobody's all going to be 100% right. And when you see that his track record is starting to be, even if it's 50-50, it's better than the majority of everybody else. I don't remember Meltzer or Alvarez breaking anything over the past couple of weeks or months that it's been like anywhere near close to like what others have. So, you know.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tidey.
I pay attention to none of these sources, none of these things, none of these dirt sheets or any of these things. And, you know, I see the hate on it here and there from people. Just it ends up in my timeline.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, cool. Like, it means nothing to me because I'm going to watch Raw and SmackDown and NXT. In AEW where I can. And I don't, it's not that I don't care. I appreciate that stuff's out there. But when I do care is that when it's on my timeline and it's a spoiler, I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Well, yeah. So I just want to
hits me as a fan because I'm here to watch.
I want to utilize what you just said right there, Tidey, and then we can kind of go back to the show. I'm not dedicating time to Sean Ross Sapp and Zero News like that. But I just want to give him flowers. But Tidey just brought up an amazing point because I don't know many people that I talk to about wrestling other than my own self that enjoy wrestling as much as Tidey does. Like I don't ever hear him complaining about anything. And the fact of the matter is, he watches the stuff. He's able to enjoy it for what it is because he's not caught up in the dirt sheet bullshit. He's not listening to these idiots, and he's staying clear of all the nonsense that comes with it. Listen to that, people, because you all sound so angry and you're always criticizing things so much. And I got shit for saying this. I said, what if we all just shut up and enjoyed the show for what it was? I'm not saying Tidey is shut up. He talks. But he enjoys the show for what it is, and he doesn't get caught up in all the extra stuff, and he loves it more than, I would say, 90% of the people out there. So it's like, pay attention to this, people. Like, for real. Because
I'm the greatest fan of all time.
There you go. He got the belt to prove it. It's right there. He the ones. We the twos. Tidey's the ones. Right there.
It goes back to, I think we had one of the first shows that we did here. We had this conversation about when we were kids. Wrestling was so much better because it was, like this mythical, amazing thing that we didn't know enough about, but we weren't inundated in all this backstage BS. We didn't know anything. When the Ultimate Warrior showed up one week and then he was gone, he was just gone, and we didn't know why. If WWE and TV didn't tell us why Ultimate Warrior wasn't on TV anymore, we didn't know why Ultimate Warrior wasn't on TV anymore. We didn't know that none of us knew that there was a contract dispute. We didn't care. We got what we got. We watched what we watched. And whether we liked the outcomes or not, because I'll be honest, I was the happiest wrestling fan as a kid because I loved wrestling. Was I happy with everything? No. SummerSlam 1991, I was like 6 years old and cried my eyes out because Demolition lost the Hart Foundation.
You're supposed to get upset at things.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing. It's the same thing as sports. I'm not going to, I'm a Jets fan, and when the Jets lose, I get upset. I'm going to be upset. It's the same thing. When my favorites don't win, I want to see them win. And I'm like, oh man, that really sucks. That's what you should be. It shouldn't be. I can't believe that they would book this, because if they book it this way, then that means in 2 months when this person's free to have a match against this person, it can't happen because shut up. Yeah. Stop thinking that deep. Stop getting that inundated into it. Get yourself to a point where you watch the show and you think to yourself, man, I can't wait to see what happens next week. That's when wrestling's fun.
Lou is another great fan. I'm in a group chat with him, and we have like a live thread. And when I do join the live thread with them, if I'm not like doing stuff with WrestleBuddy, man, he's funny as shit to watch with, because his people don't always win. And he's like, man, that's some bullshit. He's not like, getting all like intricate with it. He's just like, when it's dudes, he's like, yeah, that's my guy. And I've seen him change his mind plenty of times. I've changed his mind on a few people. You're welcome, you're welcome with that one, Lou. But like, he's the kind of fan I would love to sit down and watch wrestling with in person, because I know he's not going to be like, oh, well, if they would have booked it this way, it would have been better. And for the people out there like, well, you fantasy book all the time. Yes, I do. But I don't ever shit on things when they don't happen my way. I accept things for they are, as I've stated in the past. Show me why I'm wrong, and most of the times they do. So, Jimmy had to experience the same loss to appreciate the chaos. Yeah, yep. It's gonna make the Sami pinning Roman thing so much sweeter. But with that, anything else to talk about with this whole Sami Roman thing before we move on? You got anything you all want to add?
So I just want to bring up one thing, just to put a pin on something else that we talked about. Here's my concern. We talk about the internet, and we talk about how vocal they are and how upset they are, and how on TV they've mentioned the word, like Tidey brought up, they mentioned the word consolation prize. The internet is calling this World Heavyweight Championship a consolation prize. If it doesn't main event, does that just prove everybody right?
No. If it's co-main event, if it goes on before Roman and the main event, if Roman's in the main event and it goes right before that, yeah, it would be a bad like message to send. But then I think they really don't give a crap about the IWC. I think they troll them a lot. Maybe they would do it just to do that. When they called it a consolation prize on WWE TV, they're just trolling the IWC. That's all that is. So it wouldn't surprise me to see them do it again. But I think if it opened, it would make it seem like, oh no, this is why we're here, is this match. Let's go. I think it would help it. I think
after the Roman segment, he was walking up after he pushed Jimmy in the face. Oh, poor Jimmy. God, that was so sad. He pushes him in the face. That's what he gets for smirking and being that little happy-go-lucky. I'm just here.
He's like, man, everything's cool. Everything's good. Roman ain't gonna do nothing.
Like, nah, man. Yeah. This is some serious shit right now. He just said Solo knows better than us. Whatever. You should be paying attention, Jimmy. What were you thinking? Anyways, he's walking up that ramp. And when he's walking up that ramp, he's staring at that title. And it's not a particular emotion about it, but he does look at it. But at the same time, he knows he's the real champion. So he walks right past it eventually because he knows he's the real champion.
I didn't see this.
Roman that said it's a consolation prize / bloodline. That was the commentator said. So I don't have a problem until someone can pin Roman and then really prove to me that you are as big of a deal as that. I'm okay with them not opening or doing some other spot than the main event. And it doesn't have to prove the IWC right or wrong.
No, because they're just a small section.
Seth and AJ, whoever wins, is going to put that title on the map on Raw. It has to be earned. It has to be established. And it will be earned and it will be established because they're doing some really good moves. And there's plenty of contenders. I'm not worried about it.
I just want to use this picture because I put it in here for a reason. So I'm going to throw it up there for everybody. This is going to be me the entire time during Roman, Solo, and Sami and Kevin Owens. Oh, my God. It's going to be so. That's my face 100%. If you don't believe me, tough titties. It's true. My girl was laughing so hard when she saw it. She goes, that's me. I just wanted to use that picture before we moved on. I just love that picture so much. So, next on the agenda, we'll touch on this real quick. AEW, did we watch it?
I just saw the end of it. I saw parts of it. I was cooking dinner at the same time.
Okay. Albert?
I saw the cage match.
Okay.
That's really what was interesting me. So I said, you know what? I got to take a look at it.
So first off, I'll ask, what did you guys think about him having an announcement to make an announcement that there will be another announcement next week?
I think, man, that dude is on something right now. But you know what? It got everybody to pay attention.
You're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to say that, man.
It got everybody talking about it, so that's also great.
Yeah.
In its own way, it's its own advertisement. It's just, you're going to come across and be like, hey, man, I got this. You're going to grade this homework, and you'll be like, man, that's an A+. You're like, come on, man, that's like a D, Tony. What do you mean? You're going to have an announcement for an announcement. But it got everybody talking, so whatever.
Yeah, I'll just give him a hard time. I just think it's funny.
It is pretty funny.
You're not allowed to say that, Lou. You're not allowed to say that. There's no proof of it. But the main part of the show, the main part of that, and I think the announcement has to do with the Saturday night show that they're bringing up. I think they did a really cool job. They brought Miro back in the beginning, and they brought Thunder Rosa back like 15 minutes after that, both the same way. They're like, we're here to talk to Tony. And it kind of is just resembling the idea that they're going to, this is the start of that roster being made for Collision, which I think is interesting that they're doing it this way instead of being like, hey, we have a lot. It's like he's making a home for the misfits to have with the Saturday night show. And he's doing it on the TV too. He's not like he's trying to hide. It's like, it's a very different and interesting way to split your roster up. I don't know if you are thinking the same thing, if you've seen what I've seen, or if you follow me, you can kind of go with what I'm saying. But does it seem like that's what they're going, the direction they're going with that?
That's my thought process. I can't see it being anything else. I feel like it has to be that, because if not, then what are we really building up here? I mean, this is one of the biggest things to happen in pro wrestling history. This is one of the only handful of pro wrestling companies to get a major deal like this.
Yeah.
This is major news. This is huge. This is great for the wrestling industry.
I would say they're the third, wouldn't they be?
I mean, because if you want to get technical, TNA
never got no major one, did they?
They were on Spike.
No major. I wouldn't consider that major.
I mean, Raw was on Spike for that bunch of years.
Vince was pinching pennies.
Fair.
Is Spike still even around?
It's not as a channel anymore. But Yeah, I mean, I guess
argument. I'll also go ahead and say yeah. So it will be the fourth one then, because you had WWF, WCW, Impact, and now AEW.
I mean, and see, now I'm going to get technical. If we're going to count Impact, we technically have to count ECW because they were on the precursor to what Spike.
They were never on a major network.
Well, they were on the cable channel that became Spike. It was TNN, the Nashville network, and then they became Spike when WWE.
I never had that channel, so I can't call it a national network.
Okay, fair enough.
I got it when it became Spike. That's a fair argument. Tidey's laughing at me. That's a fair argument. I have cable, and if I have cable and I don't get that channel, then it's not national to me. That's how I'm spinning it, baby.
I purchased cable in America. It wasn't on the channel. Shit's not real.
I had some legit ass cable. I had HBO and Cinemax. For anybody that didn't live back then, you think, oh, but we all have. Back in the day, that wasn't how it was. You had to pick things like that and everything. We had a package. I did not get the ECW. I had to stay up till midnight and watch it after Saturday Night Live to see ECW. And it was like a kind of like how I don't even know. It wasn't the whole show. It's like watching Raw on Hulu now. It was we're gonna go get pieces of it. So
my broke ass, I love it.
But regardless, this is still one of
huge deal.
This is the big deal for pro wrestling. We're talking about how and this is where everybody gets me mad when they talk about ratings. Ratings don't mean anything when we're sitting there and we're talking about how WWE is breaking records every town they go in. Every town they go in, they're setting a new record high for how many tickets they're selling, how much merch they're selling. They're on fire. And if AEW is there, even if it's just running on the coattails of what WWE is doing good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them. That's awesome. Great for them, because then they get to expose a whole nother, set of people to pro wrestling. There is nothing bad about this. This can only be good. I find it to just be a little hysterical that they're using Tony Khan as a catalyst in this whole thing, when Tony Khan said 100 times, I'm never becoming an on-screen character. I'm never becoming an on-screen character. I know that we're probably past the idea of the on-screen, authority figure, but I don't care what anybody says. Both shows are hurting right now when they don't have somebody to place a grand scheme of blame on. I don't even care if it's and look, I'm even fine with Adam Pearce being that person where Chelsea and Sonya can sit there and go, I hate Adam Pearce for this. Yeah. I just need somebody to be there to take the blame. AEW is doing it with Tony Khan. Yes, I get it. They're not insulting our intelligence. We know Tony Khan owns the company. But if he's not an on-screen character, give me an on-screen authority figure. I don't care who it is. And I don't even care if we barely even see them. Just reference that, or just reference the board of directors. Fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
It works for me.
Collision. So if the theory is correct, they're getting the Saturday show, which is fantastic, because I remember watching WCW on Saturday Night Live back in the day, and I was in love with it. I thought I'm sitting there eating dinner, watching wrestling. It was cool shit. So if we're getting a Saturday show and it's AEW, and they're putting Miro and Thunder Rosa on there right out the gate, and we already know CM Punk's going to be going on the show, and apparently Chris Jericho is going to the show, and FTR is going to be on the show. With all the star power. And I'll say that for a fact, because the only one that's not really going is Jon Moxley. And I'm sure he's going to find his way over there too, because he wants to wrestle literally every day of the week. But you're taking all that star power and you're putting it on Saturday night. You're taking CM Punk's the big one. And then you're taking Chris Jericho, the guy that kind of got you to the dance to begin with. Do you think the ratings for Dynamite, and just to touch this, hey, Manny, you dumbass, ratings don't matter. But to an extent, they kind of do, because if your numbers drop significantly, then they're going to be like, okay, we got to move you to a different time slot. We don't want to be losing that many viewers. Is there a possibility that Collision could eventually, if they're literally going to be separated, like we're told, that Dynamite's ratings could suffer big time?
Collision could be the A show. There's no doubt in my mind Collision could absolutely be the A show. And just specifically with the amount of CM Punk fans that they could absolutely make Collision the A show.
Yeah. I would assume that because MJF's champion, he would have to show up on both shows too eventually.
Right.
So you're still getting the champions and stuff, but you're also getting exclusive, the big names. As great as Jon Moxley is in the world of professional wrestling right now, he doesn't hold a candle to names like Chris Jericho and CM Punk. Just don't. Go ahead.
So is there gonna? So if they kind of name, there's gonna be rosters per show then, kind of.
They're gonna. So what I've heard is that they're going to it's basically a brand split, but with story purposes, if they need to take CM Punk and put him on Dynamite, they will. They've already got ahead of it and said, yeah, it's not going to be a strong split. It's just going to be, I guess, 2 shows so that more people get opportunities, which I think that's how the brand split should be operated with. And from time to time, people will jump from show to show. How much, I don't know. But the whole reason for it, Tidey, I don't know if you're aware, is because apparently, because of the media scrum, brawl out, whatever we're calling it, they still don't want to work together. So this is their effort to bring CM Punk back without having them work together.
Dude, I'm through the roof. I think it's a great idea. Well, because yeah, you can say Dynamite ratings may go down, but hey, who gives a shit, man? Show that CM Punk is that damn star and he can do that. I'm okay with that. Sometimes stars just need to be stars. You may not like Roman Reigns, but you know what? I'm tuning into SmackDown. I love him. I love that dude.
He's an attraction.
That whole talk was amazing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are going to tune in for that, for CM Punk in general, and it can prove his point that, he is the champ, should be the champ.
Lou here is that one Punk fan that he's talking about, which means there's 2 because him and Manny, they're big Punk fans. They have little Punk seances together and everything.
But I want to see if they're going to do what's her face, Jade Cargill. If they're going to have her on Dynamite or they're going to put her over here. Because this gives me more opportunities to see a lot of them. Because I hear so many names in the roster of AEW. I'm like,
yeah,
man, I feel like I'll never see a lot of them.
Yeah, you won't.
I don't want to watch AEW Dark. Sorry, I ain't tuning into YouTube.
Well, Dark and Dark Elevation are done. They canceled them both now that they have these new shows. So that's
what's happening is Dark and Elevation are gone. Rampage, which is on after SmackDown, is going to be kind of like that show for the up and comers, almost like a Sunday Night Heat was back in the day. I don't know if you watched that. And then the new show is going to be. So you're asking it's not. I think it's a good idea because you're going to have Raw and SmackDown with AEW now. You're going to have Dynamite and Collision. You're going to have top guys representing each. I think it's a good idea. I've been saying they should be doing it for a while. I've said Rampage should be 2 hours and it should be Saturday morning, and it should be a show that doesn't incorporate most of what's happening on Dynamite. And hey, guess what? They're kind of doing it, so that's cool. I'm all for it. I think it's gonna be great. I'm curious to see what happens with the ratings though, because again, at the end of the day, they're never going to lose enough fans to where the Dynamite's canceled. And AEW's here for the long haul at this point. But 500,000, would that be alarming? If you got down to 5, if you got below NXT, would that be alarming for Tony Khan if Dynamite? Because hey, I'm tuning in for Jericho. I'm tuning in for Punk. They're on Saturday. I don't need to tune on Wednesdays anymore. There's been things that show that when it's Kenny Omega and the Bucks, that's when the dip starts. There's facts to bring to prove these. So I'm not just being a hater here, people. There are facts that back me up on this. So I'm interested to see what happens there. But I'm very excited about the Saturday show. I want to just eat my dinner at 5:00 in the afternoon and just be like, oh, wrestling, please. Yeah. One last question. Do you consider it counter programming since WWE does pay-per-views on Saturday night?
They're like 5 to 8 my time. And what time is the AEW show going to be on?
I don't know. I'm assuming it's going to be around the old show because I don't think they would want to be on at the
7.
same time as the pay-per-view. So I would assume it'd be a little early. But yeah, I don't know the time. I don't know.
So I'll answer your question. This counter programming thing. This is where the internet pisses me off to no end. When WWE announced that, when AEW announced that they were going to form a company, do we remember what the initial slogan and tagline was for Dynamite? Tuesday Night Dynamite. That was the idea. The concept was that Dynamite was going to be on Tuesdays. Now, to be fair, this wasn't an AEW decision. This was a network decision. They said, we can't do that because if we do that, we're going to be preempting you for basketball too often. So we'll put you on Wednesday and we won't have to preempt you nearly as much on Wednesday. So that's why they went to Wednesday. But now remember, NXT had already had an established brand that was on. It was only on the network, but it was on Wednesdays. The TV deals come up around the same time, not just for one channel, for all channels.
Well, also USA lost SmackDown, so they were wanting another wrestling show.
Exactly. So now they're going to say, hey, you know what? USA is going to be like, we want you to push NXT to 2 hours, and we want to give you the time slot, over there, and WWE's not going to sit there and go, well, they're going to give us money, we're not going to take it. There was no counter programming on either side. And if anybody was more egregious, it was AEW, because they were already taking out an established NXT brand that was already on Wednesdays, and they were running up against them. Now, when they announced a Friday show, it wasn't supposed to be at the same time as SmackDown, but the one time that they had to go head-to-head, it's all anybody made about. Tony Khan had to go on early. They had to throw in extra matches. WWE is going to go longer and later. Like, it's all this. Look, at the end of the day, WWE has been running, Saturday pay-per-views for the past couple of months. Maybe for about, I guess solidly for about a year now, we've had these Saturday pay-per-views. Since Nick Khan's really come on board, we've had more Saturday pay-per-views.
That's all it is now.
Yeah, I like it. And you know what? If AEW knows that that's going to be the case, then they have to be willing to sacrifice the idea of saying, all right, we're going to understand if a chunk of our audience may leave hour 2 of Collision if it's the first hour of a WWE pay-per-view.
Unless it's 2 hours before the pay-per-view, which is what I'm hoping for.
I'm hoping that's the case too. And I'm also hoping that's the case because now remember, AEW does run Saturday pay-per-views as well. During football season, AEW runs Saturday pay-per-views too. So my thought process is this isn't going to be counter-programming at all because they're going to end up doing it beforehand because they're going to use this as a buy-in for their pay-per-views on Saturday nights when they have the opportunity.
Yeah, that's interesting. Let me think about that. Go ahead, Tidey.
Sorry. Oh, man. So counter-programming.
I don't think it. I was just making fun. I thought it was hilarious.
This is madness. So
people are
all
funny.
I need to know is I want to see a roster. I want to see a roster for both. That'll be cool once they establish that. It'll give me more chance to see people that I'm interested in, and it really make me pick my times because I don't got nothing really going on Saturday.
Jade Cargill is supposedly going to be on that show as well.
Yes,
or Star Power.
Because I have nothing going on Saturday, so I think Jade Cargill and everybody out there should just really say thank you, Trish, and Becky should as well, but she hasn't yet. If it wasn't for Trish, the most important wrestler in history. I love that she said that. It was so good. Sorry.
This man getting muted. I just muted his ass. You don't say that shit on my show. We all know Becky the GOAT. Unmuted. Man, we ain't talking about that nonsense, baby. Jimmy Rampage. I do notice it gets moved, but here's the problem with it. It's never at the same time. Sometimes they just move it to a later time on Friday night. Sometimes they put it on crazy late on Saturday night. Sometimes they put it crazy early. There's no rhyme or reason to it. So if Collision has a designated time, that's what I want to see. I'd much prefer it to be on in the morning if we're being honest here, but I know that's not gonna happen. But yeah. So that's the show, everybody. I'm excited. I'm just excited for Roman, Sami, KO, Solo, Night of Champions. That's just gonna be so cool.
Same here.
So cool. That we can't wait to talk about it longer. I'm glad we kept it to a minimum. I'm glad we did that. But with that said, it's time to say our goodbyes. Albert, if you'd like to say anything to the peoples, now is your chance to do so.
So as always, I'll just plug my channel, the Slam Sessions Network on YouTube. As Jimmy says every week, there hasn't been anything new uploaded in a little bit, but there's a bunch of old stuff you can catch up on. So jump on there and take a look and give it a like and a subscribe if you can. And yeah, this has been a blast. Can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, get over there to Slam Sessions. Do the thing. Tidey, you got anything you'd like to say to the peoples before we say our goodbyes?
Well, I won't say it about Trish, but yeah, Becky is going to have a great mic time session, and I really hope Trish snaps back because that needs to be able to hit. And I know Becky's going to bring it. I just want Trish to bring it. Same thing with AJ. Grayson's going to go off on his ass on SmackDown. because Grayson is good at pushing buttons, and I really hope AJ steps up.
Later, Cameron.
LWO versus the Usos, Brawling Brutes versus Pretty Deadly. There is some really good stuff to look forward to. I'm very excited just for this next week alone. So, and Sammy's going to win that championship. That's what everybody needs to know. That's all. That's all.
That's it.
He's going to win.
And with that, y'all know me. Raw recap tomorrow, right after Monday Night Raw. I'm on a high right now with wrestling. I think it's all been good, so I'm in a great mood. It's the best time to come watch me. I'm very animated. I'll be very chatty with you. So come join the show, ask some questions, talk along with me. It's a good time, always is. So that's where I'll be tomorrow night. I have a Meet the Wrestle Buddies this week. So if you're wanting to learn more about some of the Wrestle Buddies members, some of the new members, now's your chance to do so. Jump in the chat. You got some questions for him, go ahead and do it. It is none other than Chris Belcher. It'll be Friday. If you watched our fantasy draft that I did with Albert and Chris, you have a little idea who he is. If not, tune in Friday over at Wrestle Buddy for the Meet the Wrestle Buddies with Chris Belcher. Very, very, very cool dude. I think y'all gonna like him.
Super fun fantasy draft opponent.
Yes. And then next Sunday night, we'll be right back here for another show. I don't know. As always, I hardly ever know what we're going to be talking about. But when I figure it out, you'll be the first to know if you're following the Positively Awesome Wrestling Twitter page, which you should be. If you're not, get your butt over there and do so now. But with that said, it is time to say our goodbyes. So thank you for watching, everybody. Much love for the support. And don't forget to just enjoy wrestling.